Worries, but we'll try our best to keep it brief and maybe put a smile on your face. Um, so India, you've been communicating with Patrick. He's the president of Georgians for the Arts, but I'll be leading this session. I want us to do very quick introductions so that you have a sense of who we are. And I'll start and save Patrick for last. But my name is Wadouda Mohammed. I'm an art administrator here in the city of Atlanta. I have been working in arts administration for about 11 years now, specifically in the visual art space. And something that I like to emphasize, it seems trivial, it seems really, silly, but I do because I want to highlight my commitment to the art. But I have a bachelor's degree in art history and a master's degree in arts administration. So this is my livelihood. This is an industry that I care about. This is how it's my bread and butter. And I got involved in art advocacy about 8 years ago. And I do this because I really care about, the industry and the effects that it has specifically here in Georgia. I serve on the board of Georgians for the Arts as the treasurer. And we're just so excited to have you here. I'll cut it short. We're so excited that you have made time out of your day to be here on behalf of Representative Bishop. So welcome. And I'm just going to pick the next name in order. Areta?
Absolutely. Hi there. I'm so happy to be here today. My name is Areta Baumgartner. I am Education Director at the Center for Puppetry Arts in Midtown Atlanta. We're proud to be represented by Ms. Nikema Williams in the 5th Congressional District. And we're really proud to be the nation's puppetry center right here in Midtown. I have been a puppeteer for 25 years, been at the center for 10 years. And the reason I landed in puppetry and the reason we advocate for puppetry so strongly as a performance tool, a teaching tool, just a life tool, is because we do feel like everyone can see themselves in the magical art of puppetry, whether you're a designer, director, dramaturg, technician, human storyteller, any type of the arts, all types of the arts are in puppetry. And puppetry also represents thousands of years of equity, diversity, and inclusion as a global art form. So we are so incredibly grateful for congressional support for the arts, and in particular, this past really crazy time. So I'm Areta from the Center for Puppetry Arts. Just a big old thank you on behalf of my colleagues.
And Vanya?
Yes, hi, I'm Vanya Foote. I'm the Executive Director of the Atlanta Chamber Players in Atlanta. I'm also on the board of my local arts council in Cobb County. I too, a similar career path with Wadouda. I've got my master's in this discipline. It's my livelihood. It's also my husband's. It's very much a family business. So I'm very happy to be here. So I'll turn it over.
Okay. Patrick? Or India, maybe India or? Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay. I think from the last few years, you've actually been our primary contact there in the representative's office. So it is good to have a familiar face this year as in the past. Not much changed on our end here. I'm still teaching at the Savannah College of Art and Design, still a passionate arts advocate. Georgians for the Arts was established a couple of years ago. It's kind of a spin-off from what you may know as Arts Georgia. Arts Georgia or Georgia Arts Network had always been the designated representative to Americans for the Arts in their arts action advocacy efforts. We've taken on that role now with working in partnership with both organizations. And now we are just dedicated to advocating for the for arts and culture here in the state. And of course, tacking on to that, everything that's happening at the federal level, hence our visit with you today. One thing I'll say about Georgians for the Arts is, unlike years past where, we brought to you, a dozen or so folks to serve on the delegation. This year, our Arts Advocacy Week, as you can imagine, is virtual. And so, schedules permitting, we have those that can attend. We have the majority of all the reps and both senators this week. Also, that with the Georgia for the Arts, we have a following of I think about 4,500 arts advocates throughout the state. So while none of us are in Representative's district today, does not mean that we do not have a large presence in our followers. So, but back to you, Wajuda.
Yeah, India, if you could introduce yourself so that we can learn a little bit more about you and what you do for the representative.
Well, thank you all for being with me today. If you can't hear me, just let me know and I'll be sure to interject. So my name is India. I'm actually from Congressman's District. I'm from Albany. I got my bachelor's in political science with minors in Spanish and sociology from Georgia Southern. I've been with the Congressman's office for about 5 years now. I was initially an intern, and now I'm the legislative assistant, legislative correspondent, intern, coordinator, and social media manager.
Wow. Good for you. Okay. Again, thank you so much for being here with us. And so I just wanted to just touch on just a few things that are, really, there's a lot of things that are important to us during this National Arts Advocacy Week, but I had an opportunity to just kind of briefly look over, okay, sorry, I have little ones, so you may hear. So forgive me. They're virtual schooling, and I'm sorry. But I reviewed a little bit of, some of his interests, and correct me, if it's changed or it's been updated, but I see that, he has interest in transportation, education, and some veterans affairs. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And so what I'd like to say about that as it relates to the arts is that, we have a variety. Well, first of all, let me back up. You should have received a congressional handbook, if you haven't already, in the office that outlines all of the initiatives, all of the data, all of the stats on a national level about where we are, with the arts, and you can go through it and get all the numbers and the data and the stats that you need. But I do want to focus on his interests, and what I want to say about that is that the arts cross, all of these disciplines, right? So we have initiatives with regards to arts and transportation. We have a huge initiative with arts and education, and we recognize that the representative is on the STEAM caucus.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes, which we are very excited about, because not a lot of people have adopted the concept of STEAM. Some people are still STEM. And so having that art component really, speaks volumes and makes a difference. And, we're excited about that. And then as it relates to his veterans interest, there is a huge initiative nationally with arts and military. And that's just really a tip of the iceberg, so to speak. But now that we have two senators that are Democrats who support the arts, one, Warnock, who has come out with a public statement about his support for the arts, we really want to take that energy and encourage the rest of our district representatives to kind of jump on, on board. And one way that you can do that is by joining the Arts Caucus. And I don't believe Representative Bishop is on the Arts Caucus. Are you aware if he is or not?
I've added him to quite a few, so I can double check, and I'll definitely make sure.
Yeah, and that would be one of our biggest asks, is that, he definitely joins the Arts Caucus. Patrick, did you want to say anything further about just like the data around the as it relates to transportation, the STAR Act?
Sure.
And mhm.
To go back to the legislative handbook, if you recall years past, there was about 120-page physical book that should have been delivered to your office already. Also, when I sent you the invite for the Zoom meeting, I had also attached, just for digital reference, that same handbook. Also, along with the handbook, is a 2-page summary of a lot of our priorities. Some are going to be of interest, some may not be, but there's plenty to pick from. Also, there is a 2-page data sheet on why the arts matter in Georgia, and that is packed dense with information from the national perspective, and of course compared to the state. So you have those to work with, and unfortunately, between the Bureau of Economic Analysis and the NEA, they've not yet updated the satellite accounts. But I gave you the 2017 Creative Industries Summary, which includes the number of organizations and the number of workers in the representative district. Also in that, when I did check, I did not see, it could be outdated, the representative on the Arts Caucus. And one thing, 3 of you that are, sorry, 3 of the reps are on the STEAM Caucus, but only 1 right now is on the Arts Caucus. And we're also hoping to give both senators to do their caucus membership too. Bottom line is, right now, for a variety of reasons, Georgia continues to be #1 for being last and per capita arts funding. Part of the money comes from the NEA. So of course, we're always going to push more funding for the NEA, arts education, arts and juvenile justice, arts in the military, arts and health. That's the money stuff. One of the things that Wadudo mentioned is transportation, infrastructure. If the infrastructure bill passes, last time I checked, approaching $600 million in transportation infrastructure improvements. Right now, today, because of the laws that are legislation is on the books, not 1 dime of that money, if it is included in either a federal project or partnering or matching up with state, county, or city funds, not 1 dime of that can be applied to an artist or that which they produce and non-functioning landscape. So basically what's going to happen is if that particular legislation doesn't get turned around, then we're going to see a lot of Stalin or Soviet era transportation projects coming out of the federal government. Right now, it's for the House bill, it's 3437, also known affectionately as the Saving Transit Arts Resources, STAR Act. So what we're looking for with that one there, it's more sponsors and getting that legislation pushed through. So if the infrastructure bill does pass, that the creative people outside of the architects, which will be the only ones that can improve the aesthetics, and everything that they include will have to come off of the Home Depot or the Lowe's shelf.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we want that.
No.
So back to you, Wadudo. I think that's going to cover it for the transportation portion of it. And there is a lot of data too in the handbook about the history of that particular piece of legislation.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Yeah, so one thing that I just wanted to touch on is the Georgia creative industry report, and I believe the one that I'm looking at is as of this year, April 2nd, 2021, and this is available on the Americans for the Arts website, but also in the handbook. And just in Georgia alone, and I'm just reading from the page here, the arts and culture contribute $28.7 billion to the Georgia economy. $1 billion, and we are ahead of construction, education, and agriculture in the state of Georgia. Yet we are, like Patrick said, we 50th out of all states. We teeter-totter between 49th and 50th for funding for the arts, but this is how much we contribute to our economy. The other thing, and I'll say that represents about 154,000 jobs. The other fact is that as a result of the pandemic, we lost about $50 million in combined revenue, and that includes organizations and individual artists and art workers who have lost their job as a result. And through the PPP or PPE, through the assistance, only received about $500,000 in recovery aid, and so are still way underfunded. I mean, we're thankful we got something, but I mean, that's only what, I'm terrible with math, but the percentage, I mean, from 50 million to 500,000. And so we're really, 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 really trying to get as much support as possible from our representatives across the state to when the economy kind of bounces back, that the arts are not left behind, because we do contribute and we want to be recognized as a viable and contributing sector. We're not just here to make everyone feel good. We also bring money into the economy and make everyone feel good. So, and the other thing is that there is another bill, and Patrick, you probably know this one. I believe this is not appropriation, but we want individual artists and arts organizations to be recognized as small businesses, and to be able to get the same kind of resources and support that for-profit businesses receive. And there is a bill that has been introduced to support that as well. And so those are the numbers. I just want to reiterate that, as Georgians for the Arts, as the designated state art advocacy organization, we represent the entire state of Georgia. And I said this before in other meetings, but it's having 2 senators that support the arts, and the more representatives that we get to show their support for the arts, then there are these rural communities and there are just outliers that need that boost of morale to really kind of get on the map and feel that the work that they do is valuable, and it can increase the just have more visibility for what it is that we're already doing on with little, very little. There is a industry map that I can share with you after the call that shows how many businesses, creative businesses, are in the state of Georgia, and how many individuals are employed by district. So you can see specifically by the district that District 2, I believe, is Bishop's district. how many creative businesses exist in that district? And I think that that's important to help, kind of make the case and help get them on board.
What
Is
do
there-
some of the specifics? Georgia Council for the Arts had received some of the CARES Act money last year. NEA had been appropriated about $30 million. 40% of that went directly to the state agencies. And at the time of, say, February to May, when kind of things began to go into a tailspin, District 2 had self-reported, and this is strictly through the applicants that reported in District 2, which was 15 organizations reported at that time, that small segment of time, $2.6 million in lost economic income. Entire state was about almost $40 million, and Georgia had received about $510,000 in care relief. I did want to, if you don't mind, I want you to chime in with Retta and Vanya and how some of the federal assistance has helped the two of you keep going.
Mhm.
And I'm happy to, if it's okay, Vanya, to jump in, because I want to piggyback on what you had mentioned, the payroll protection program. That in particular made a difference here at the Center for Puppetry Arts because it allowed us to bridge an important time period to keep our doors open. Thanks to the SBA payroll protection program, we were able to keep 17 of our 60-ish staff members on board, and even the furloughed folks that we were able to put on furlough and hiatus, they were able to get unemployment insurance thanks to the CARES Act because they are considered gig workers. And for the first time ever, we're able to keep our family close because of that, so that when we're ready to provide more robustly for our community, our people are going to be there for us. We don't have to put the resources in to retrain. We don't have to put the resources in, right, to hire new folks. So we are really grateful for that. But in particular, the PPE allowed us to keep those 17 key staff members on board. And get a load of this, I had to look it up and write it down because even, I got to be honest, for me, the numbers were a little bit too exciting. So I did have to look it up. That really crucial time in late spring, we produced 35 short videos called Puppet Pals, tidbits to inspire, educate, and entertain. We dropped those free on Facebook for teachers, district associates, at-home learners, parents, caregivers, teachers. More than 1 million people had access to free arts programming, curriculum supportive, talk about education, Representative Bishop, right? More than 1 million people in a very crucial time had access very quickly to really curriculum supportive, robust arts education programming because we were able to keep people on confidently. We did streaming story times with Atlanta Fulton County Public Library. That more than 5,000 at-home learners were able to access to support literacy, especially at a time when learning loss. We were really concerned about that. Then soon after that, we could pivot into low-cost income generating program. And we've specifically focused on equity, diversity, inclusion through local author Calvin Ramsey's Ruth in the Green Book, artists of color panels that were able to really jumpstart a conversation in the arts community in our area. And then right now we're able to, and I'm getting emotional about it, just a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, we were able to very carefully, very intentionally bring guests back into our building because we were able to make it through the crucial time that we needed thanks to the SBA PPP program. So we are still struggling, but we are optimistic, and it's because of support by folks like Representative Bishop. So thank you.
Cool.
Wow, that is wonderful and very hard to follow up. We are such a small organization that I work for. There's 2 staff. So we were the recipients of the first round of the PPP loan. And I mean, if we had to furlough ourselves, just 2 of us, it could have meant, the real end of our organization. So that was crucial. And then on the flip side, our musicians are all gig workers who up until this point had never had any kind of assistance. So that was huge for them, and it allowed us again to bridge that gap to make the transition to all virtual until we're able to in May, kind of conduct our first kind of in-person hybrid concerts. So it's been incredible.
Okay, in the interest of time, I want to be mindful. And my son is doing a scavenger hunt virtually. India, do you have any questions or thoughts for us before we part?
At the moment, no questions, but I did want to say thank you for your time today. It's really nice meeting with you all every year. You always have so much, positive energy and enthusiasm. And I really appreciate it. And I can tell you that Rep Bishop has always been a very strong supporter of the arts, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. While you all were talking, I went through the list of priorities, and I'll definitely be looking into these further and adding him to the STAR Act and the Arts Caucus, I believe it was.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, I'll be looking into that as well. What else? What else? I wanna say that was it for me.
I'll say one thing about the, talking about, it's the, what they call it, it's the CREATE Act. Right now, it's a Senate bill, and we're still looking for some support in the House. That is the bill, and that is, it's Senate 650. That begins to recognize artists and nonprofit arts organizations as small businesses, which will then unlock all of the resources that are made available to non-arts and for-profit entities. So we're still looking for some support there to get some legislation to match up with the Senate. I'll send you a couple links to these two bills just to help you out a little bit.
Okay, great. I'll be on the lookout for that one as well.
Cool.
Well, thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to be here during National Arts Advocacy Week. I've served as state captain. Patrick has served as state captain. We normally go to DC and meet with representatives all in one day. So this is just such an exciting time for us. We love doing this work, and it means a lot to us to know that we have support. And that's it. You all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you for your
Bye.
support.
Thank you. Bye-bye. So Patrick,
And,
I'll see you on at 12:30.
Yes.